Welcome back, my Walking Dead Road to Survival family. It's Mason, in-game as Invisiter, your community manager, and welcome to the first official RTS podcast, The Road, Episode 1, a conversation with two of the people carving out the path on our road to survival. What's going to happen here in the future? We're going to find out in this episode. Plus, I'll be giving away 3 copies of Headless Hershel. Gold Mythic Headless Hershel could be yours. Keep watching to find out how to win. We're going to talk about limit breaks, why you should believe limit break 3 is going to be the last limit break, plus the future of Challenge Run, Telltale Mythics, A Christmas Carol, plus the future of Faction Assault, and so much more. It's going to be a good one. Before we get started, I want to make sure you like this video if you play Road to Survival, and subscribe if you want to find more content from the official Walking Dead Road to Survival channel here on YouTube. I'm hoping to do more episodes of this podcast with more members of our Road to Survival team about the future of our game. We're already doing weekly survivors updates, and there's much more on the way, so make sure you're with us to find out about the road ahead on our road to survival. So let's talk about the road ahead with the people who know the most about it. I am joined by our Road to Survival General Manager, Patient Zero. Hello.
Hey everybody, nice to meet you, or nice to make you listen to me.
And Grendel, a Senior Product Manager of the Roadmap team. Hello.
Hey everybody.
First, just to kind of get familiar with what you guys do on the team, let's talk a little bit about your roles. Patient Zero is General Manager. What do you do?
Yeah, that's sometimes what I ask myself at the end of the day. What did I do today? I'm sitting in a lot of meetings and I'm asking a lot of questions, and I, in the end, try to achieve a consensus in the team what we do next. A analogy, a football coach is one of them. The football coach stands there and tries to prepare the team for the match, and has his assistant coaches, and in the end, when the team wins, it's the benefit of the team, and if the team loses, it's the fault of the coach. And that is the beauty of my role, that I'm responsible for everything that bad happens, and I can forward the praise for everything that good happens to the team.
And by the way, the boss as well. Also, Grendel, as a Senior Product Manager on the Roadmap team, talk about what that means. Translate that.
Okay, yeah, well, so for me, it's not too different. An awful lot of meeting with people and kind of seeing what everyone on the team is currently thinking about when we think about how the game can be a lot more fun and just a better experience overall for everyone. And on the roadmap side, we are really just dedicated to kind of looking for opportunities to make the game a great experience, and better and better every day. I mean, I think that's our overall vision.
It's safe to say that the three of us are relatively new to this. I am just about 2 months in. I know Patient Zero just joined as well not long ago, and I know that Grendel is also relatively new, but I know that we also want to usher in a bit of a new era. Something that I think that a lot of players have not seen is the flow of information freely being shared, feedback being taken into consideration. And I hope that in starting this new podcast and doing it on a more regular basis, we'll be able to kind of open up those doors and pull back those curtains to give players more of an inside look as to what is not only coming up, but the process of how these things are planned. So now that we know a little bit about some of the players on the team here, I want to use an example like Limit Break 3. Like we announced with the same cadence of delivery between Limit Break 1 and Limit Break 2, but with the intent of communicating it as early as possible to prepare players in the best way. And when we saw that feedback, we reacted, right? And I know a lot of players had a lot of feedback about that. So let's talk a little bit about when this information comes out and what goes into that, how we consider it, because I know we discussed it. We had another poll run. I'll show the results here. It showed that the majority of people polled were looking for a later delivery of both Limit Break 3 and Inner Circle. Let's talk about what that means and how we consider that and how we consider rolling that out, because we take player feedback into account, but we also have a much larger picture that we have to work it into when we plan out what's coming the rest of the year. So let's talk about how we did roll that out and why players should believe that Limit Break 3 will be the final limit break.
Yeah. Let's talk about Limit Break 3. So I think we could step back and say that, the vision for Limit Break 1, 2, and 3 alike, it was really a sense that, we didn't want to have a situation where, people got these great new fighters, but then they felt like the fighters didn't really go anywhere over time. And the vision for Limit Breaks was always to give the sense that, some of the fighters you acquire, they sometimes have a future ahead of them and can even transform over time and become, more useful in different kinds of ways. And that was kind of the main driving force behind having the limit breaks, come out in intervals like they did. But what we really discovered is that it just doesn't feel good at the end of the day to feel like you can't ever bring your fighters to a sense of completion, right? That in theory, there's always another limit break around the corner, maybe, right? And if you don't know that, you always feel like you're just chasing a goal you can't attain. And for that reason, we really wanted to just say, look, that's fine. We had some limit breaks in 2021, but 2022, no more. There's not going to be any Limit Break 3. That's the end of limit breaks. We've got Inner Circle. That is really cool. I don't know if you guys have read a little bit about it, but basically it's going to make it more important to have lots of different kinds of characters rather than just continuously chasing this goal with each individual character.
We are very sorry if we gave all the players the impression that, hey, we are running out of ideas, let's do a new limit break. I think the 3 limit breaks were, to my knowledge, the plan from the beginning, and had a rollout strategy. So we started with Limit Break 1, and we didn't roll them out immediately because that would create a lot of unfairness, disparity in account power between people who invest money and people who don't. So we wanted to release them in chapters. So Limit Break 1, 2, 3, but always 3 was the intended design to cap, because we want deep character progression, like Grendel mentioned, but we want as well the feeling of, okay, I have this character finished. And it's a good feeling to say, hey, I have a check. I could tick a checkbox in my list. It's a long list, but one checkbox is ticked. And when we did Limit Break 1, we didn't mention Limit Break 2. And when we announced Limit Break 2, we got the very valid feedback from players like, you know what? I just sold my copy of that character that I now need. That's a very frustrating experience. And we are all players on the team, and we said, that is actually true. If I had known that there's another limit break coming, I would have saved that character copy to prepare for the future. And then we decided, let's take that feedback and make sure that this doesn't happen again by announcing Limit Break 3 with Limit Break 2. So players can prepare and don't sell the copies that they think they don't need, but they will need it in the future. We want to change the way how we communicate with the players. We want to be more open, more transparent, and announce things more often and earlier. That maybe was not the right first step to do that, but I feel it sparked a good discussion. It made us listen to the feedback. It enabled us to react to the feedback. We always listen to the feedback, even though, and I know that from my own player experience, it feels like the developer never listens. Right? They only sit in their corner with their closed windows. They roll a dice and then they do something nobody wants. Yeah, I feel we had the right intention. I feel we need to get used to our communication style, both from the player community and us as a team that, as you mentioned, has a few new faces in it, and we are very excited and passionate about all the things that are coming. And you mentioned it earlier, why should players believe that Limit Break 3 is the last limit break? And that is because we feel that character progression is now deep enough and shouldn't go deeper. We want to frame it in the way that if 2021 is the year of the mythic, with all the release and the progression that one is done, and 2022 will be a different year, and we can talk about what 2022 will be later in the podcast.
We will actually. Thank you for that. So as we talk about these things, it's very exciting to hear for me, a player of 6 years and also a new employee here, to get to see how all these pieces of this puzzle come together. And though I know you guys are not by any means new to the industry, though we may be new to this team, I really think it's important for us to start with this podcast as that first opening up of the curtains, to share not only that Limit Break 3 will be the end of Limit Breaks, but some of the view of what's to come down the road in not only 2022, but as we do more of these podcasts, the future beyond that. So I'm hoping to do these more regularly, and maybe more with you two, and maybe more with other members of the team to talk about various parts. So let's talk a little bit about what is in the plan. Patient Zero has commented to me in other meetings that right now you can get everything everywhere, right? A lot of rewards are available across different parts of the game, but is that ideal?
When Grendel and me sit in meetings, we sometimes look at the list of all the features that we're having in the game, and we are asking ourselves, why should players interact with that feature? And we have a few features where we feel like there's no reason to interact with that feature, and that was in many ways a shame, because once those features were relevant, they were really, to our knowledge, beloved and enjoyed by our players. But now it feels like doing them would be a waste of time, because the rewards you get out of them are completely meaningless in today's Mythic world. And instead of adding new stuff on top of that, we want to revisit those old features and give them new meaning and new life and new fun, and make them relevant and enjoyable and challenging, because we all know competition is important in the Walking Dead Road to Survival, because it is fun to compete, and it's fun to win, especially after you lost. So losing is part of this as well, because without losing, winning wouldn't be fun.
Life lessons from Patient Zero.
Oh yeah, I'm a deep thinker.
But that is something else we want to talk about, because I do have a bunch of community questions I want to get to, and maybe this is a good time to kind of transition to that, because I know that some things are not necessarily fully revealed just yet. Maybe this is an example we can talk about Challenge Run, Grendel.
Yeah, let's do it.
So what can players look forward to? Because I think right now a lot of players are going, I can do a little bit each day, get a character, then what?
Yeah, definitely. So we do have a lot of plans for Challenge Run. When we brought it out, I think the main thing that we were thinking about was that, we really wanted to create a feature in the game that would inspire people to build teams that they never built before, and I think the idea of building like the strongest possible team where you're only using a single trait, I feel like that's a challenge that had just never really been kind of pushed to its limit. And I think when you look at Challenge Run, it kind of is that. I mean, it's definitely very difficult. And I think we are seeing that in the feedback as well. It's a very challenging experience, lives up to its name. But I think the one thing that we think about a lot when we kind of look at the feature by itself is, where do we go from here, right? Like the current design is that you've got, a run for every trait and, a number of stages you'll have to complete. But at the end of that, that's the end. So really what we've been thinking about for kind of the next version of Challenge Run is a way to make it kind of live beyond the existing number of stages that are available. And what we can talk a little bit about here is kind of what that would feel like. And so, basically the idea for now is when you complete each of those runs will transform into something that's more like a kind of tournament style environment. So that every day when you get in, you'll be able to kind of use that team that you built and just see if it measures up against other people who are playing. Is it in fact the best possible alert team? I don't know. That's how you can find out. And so I think it will be fun. I think it'll be a great experience for players to kind of check in, see how their teams stack up. And also we want to make sure that players are continuing to get gear medals from the feature. It's one of the main things that we kind of see as living within Challenge Run, getting gear medals. And then also, I think people have been, had very positive things to say about the exclusive characters. I hear a lot of positive things said about Andre, so that's great. And we are kind of looking for ways where these changes could allow us to potentially offer more characters, or certainly, in the future when there's a Limit Break 3, you'll need to be able to get another copy of those existing characters. So we're looking at things like that. But overall, we definitely want Challenge Run to feel like it's something players can engage in every day. And that's kind of what drives us.
So the run continues beyond what we know right now, we can assume, right?
Yeah.
All right. And that would lead then into more, I would assume, down the road, because I do want to get to some of these community questions, and I want to do this each time we do one of these podcasts, because this is one of the luxuries that I have as a player, being able to ask all you guys all the important questions that I know nothing about, and maybe you could give me some info on it. A lot of questions in the community surrounding, you had touched on it a little bit earlier, Patient Zero, some of these features that we have that are not very engaged with by our players, or maybe are outdated. Can you talk a little bit about a plan for next year and some of those?
Yeah, although I think this is much more Grendel's topic, but Grendel and me work very close together, and I really enjoy our conversations. And when I said earlier 2021 is the year of the Mythic, then 2022 will be the year of the feature, and we will be very busy with connecting features in a meaningful way, giving them a clear progression from one feature to the other. We want to make sure that everybody who picks up Walking Dead, whether it's a new user or a returning player or a veteran player, will know that this game is about war, competing in war, again, losing in war, winning in war, if you can. But war is that really that end game feature that is so beloved by our players, and that we want to sort of put more tender love and care to next year. We will have more information about that as well. But you should know when you start or return to Walking Dead that it's about war, and we should give you much more guidance and help how to get to war fastest. And that is how to acquire the best characters that you can acquire, whether that's as a paying player or as a non-paying player. Both should have the ability to create war teams or the best war teams that they can. And I mentioned earlier that there are features inside the game where we are very unhappy with the relevance and the fun factor of those. And the one that we feel like we really want to improve, almost to not a complete redesign, but so many things will change that it will be a completely new experience, is Faction Assault. We have looked at the data, and the amount of players interacting with Faction Assault on a daily basis would fit into a school bus on some days, right? And that is not enough for a cooperative player versus environment feature where we feel, hey, this could be so much fun, right? And this should be so much fun. And this is one of the examples where we feel like, instead of adding more and more and more, let's look at what we have. Let's look at what is not working, and let's bring the fun back to those features.
I think that's great. I think it's something that players have been asking for a while, and I think you just saying Faction Assault will make people a little more excited about it, and we'll all start saving those tickets again, because we've all just been sitting on them forever. So yeah, and I know that is a little bit more of a Grendel's department too in the making that happen world. But there's a lot, because I know as being on the roadmap team, you have a large, long road ahead of you. Not only with things like Patient Zero was just talking about, but the other features, the other things that we have rolling out. Like, another question I got was about Limit Break 3. Players really want to see what abilities fighters have at Limit Break 3. Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we may have shown a couple of examples at this point, but I agree. We're looking at, December as the new time for Limit Break 3 to come out, and I think between now and then, we should start to show off more of what everyone's going to see with Limit Break 3, because it is really cool. I mean, we always sort of envisioned it as being sort of like the end point, and it really is the point at which your mythic passives are complete, as well as kind of the visuals for the character. And it is a case where I think the more people are able to kind of see how those passives will actually change the characters, the more exciting Limit Break 3 becomes. And I think Limit Break 3, it's probably important to also think about when it comes out, be coming out alongside Inner Circle. And Inner Circle, I think, is another really neat feature in that it definitely says, hey, like Limit Break 3, it's a good stopping point, right? And Inner Circle is kind of like the way that you can kind of take older characters that maybe you don't even play a lot, but if you happen to have a lot of copies, suddenly they become a part of the Inner Circle. So yeah, I think between now and the time that Limit Break 3 comes out, we should start showing off more of those abilities.
Yes, I'm actually very excited about this too. I'll be working with Lockdown. I'm going to leave a link to his channel here. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. If you want to get your first look at Limit Break 3, every single character's Limit Break 3 ability, Lockdown's going to bring them all to you on his channel, so make sure you stay tuned for more. Another question that a lot of players are asking every year, we see it. We saw a Holiday Mercer. I think we had a Pippi who had some antlers on her at one point. Who will be this year's holiday character? Can you tell us?
Yeah, I think we can. Maybe we can let the cat out of the bag there.
I love that. Cat out of the bag. Literally. Look, Christmas Shiva is back. Oh, and a Christmas Carol. And a Christmas Carl? I love it. It's not very often we get to see an early look at some of the things that are coming. I'm super excited to be doing this. Some more of your holiday heroes coming very soon. Probably after Tyrese brings in the turkey and the stuffing. Gobble till you wobble, y'all. All right, final question from the community. And if you ever have these, you can leave them on the comments. Find our official Discord. There are ways to connect with us via the links in the description of this video. Final question. Get this a lot. People love the Telltale series. Clementine is a beloved character. We are asked a lot, and maybe Patient Zero, you can answer this. Will we see a Telltale allegiance in the Mythic era?
Yeah, this is, as you said, something that you are being asked a lot, and we have, I guess, good news.
Yes, we cannot say when. I don't want to say who, but maybe you have some ideas. Leave them in the comments of this video down below. And if you want to get in the running to win your copy of Gold Mythic Headless Hershel, comment with the word Kenny. Kenny. Kenny is the keyword that's going to get you in the running to win. All you have to do is leave a comment on this video. We will select 3 at random by November 15th. This has been fantastic. I really appreciate the time. I know players also appreciate the look inside to see how the sausage is made, as some people say. So it's greatly appreciated that you guys would take your time out of what I know is your very meeting-filled day. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with not only me, but giving you a little look into what we have coming up as well for players. So thank you both.
Yeah,
it was great. Thank you.
And if I can take a moment to say thank you as well to you for being with me for this conversation with us. I know for a fact, as I am a member of this community, that we are a very passionate bunch. So I hope that this helps to bring a little light onto what we have in store. And I hope that this will be something that we get to do a lot more often. As of right now, I think we can look forward to our next episode of The Road, a conversation about war. We just announced a lot of changes on what is on the way for the pinnacle of competition in Road to Survival. And I hope to bring you more of an inside look at what we have planned for what's in store for the future of war. For now, I've been Invisinerd, your community manager. We'd love to hear your feedback about all of this on our official Discord channel. Make sure you find us on Twitter and Facebook, along with more. The official blog links are all in the description of this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and I'll end by saying thank you for putting up with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will hope to see you again soon.